This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world. I'm Bruce. And I'm Jody. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go.
What's up, Bruce?
Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are.
Good day to you, sir.
Good day to you. Yes. Man, it has been I said this last week when we recorded, it's been a whirlwind. The whirlwind has continued.
It keeps blowing.
Yeah. I am freshly back from my international trip for some modeling.
Nice.
Now it's not out yet, but I can talk about it a little. That I went up and modeled for a Canadian retailer, Big and Tall retailer, and it was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Got to go to Toronto, and
how was Toronto?
It was a little cold.
Yeah.
Compared to Portland, it was cold. I try to, when I'm doing like short trips like that, I mean, you're basically there for a day and a half.
Yeah.
Trying to just like take the essentials, do a carry-on and go. And so I had a carry-on and I had the option of taking like a bigger coat. And really here in Portland, at least for me, I don't feel like I need, I'm not wearing a heavy coat. Most of the time I'm wearing a hoodie, whatever, or a jacket of some kind.
Yeah, I just wear like a shell, just a waterproof shell of the jacket most of the time. So
right.
I'm not outside for very long periods of time normally.
Exactly. So it's one of those things where I was on the fence. I was like, do I want to take this big coat that I've got? I've got one coat that I want to say it came from like Old Navy or something. My wife's like, what do you think about this? It's $13, whatever it was.
Love it.
I was like, sure. I haven't actually worn it.
Oh.
So I'm going to have to. Yeah, I know. I was going through the closet looking for a coat and I'm like, oh, look at this. And remembered that I'd gotten it a couple months ago. And so it was kind of puffy and a little bigger. And I just thought, man, I'm going to be hot because I'm going to be moving around and stuff. And I'm going to be on the plane. So I'm just going to take a pullover hoodie. And then I've got a Carhartt like heavy duty zippered hoodie. And that thing's a beast. So
the really thick ones.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And it was great. I mean, it worked really well. It worked so well that it kind of worked against me on the day I was leaving because I had to run through the train station to catch my train.
Oh, whoops.
And so by the time I got to where I needed to go, I was sweaty, It always starts with the arms. I get sweaty arms and it's done.
Oh.
Arms, sweaty legs. The rest of I don't know. The arms and legs it's just this thing for me. So
that's weird.
Yeah. So anyway, I went to Toronto and we shot at this really cool studio. There was a Studio Cat there. There may or may not be some motorcycle photos of me. Some fun. There was just some fun stuff. And the models were really cool. The crew was awesome. Everything was just a great experience. And it had been a while since I modeled, before the pandemic. Right. Really like right when it started. And so, after a while, it's not something that I do, it's not like a thing that I do for a living. It's something that, when that opportunity comes up, it's really cool. And I'm always, I don't know, flattered, honored, whatever to get the opportunity to do it. So, it's fun when those things come up, but after a while, it's just like, well, I think that ship has sailed. It's not something that I set out to do in the first place or thought that I would ever do. So, when the opportunity came up, it was like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm really happy that I got to do it and got to go up there, and it's so much fun. You just like, you get to have a good time. You meet new people. You have these different experiences. A lot of things to learn about, like you forget a lot of times you're thinking that modeling is really just kind of standing there and staring. And I guess technically it is. Yeah. But like knowing how to pose,
you got to give them variety, and
there are a lot of things like that. Yeah. And good like teams will you'll have good photographers or like shoot producers that are able to tell you, well, what if you move like this, or you and the team that I was working with, they had it down. They were pros. They knew how to position us or how to tell us to move and do things. And the photographer like just caught some great shots. So
nice.
We did photo and video. Yeah. And it'll be out sometime soonish.
Yeah. I think I saw sort of a behind the scenes photo from somebody, or maybe you posted something with a group shot of you. I don't know. Yeah. It looked good.
Yeah. There's there were a few different guys there. One guy is a CFL player, which is the Canadian Football League, and he was there. He was really cool. There was a DJ, there was an actor, there were a couple other guys. One of the guys was the prep guy, Syed from I think he's the prep guy on Instagram, and he was there, and so it was cool to talk to him through Instagram. It was cool to actually get to meet him in person and at least spend a little time, just kind of get to hang and all that. So
nice. Did you guys go do anything as a group or anything afterwards, or was it pretty much just go and
I went
be
out
done?
with a lot of times, you're coming in, and a lot of people have like real strict schedules, and they come in, they get done, and they're out. And so we had a couple guys that had to go, pretty quickly after their work was done. But there were two of the guys that I went out with, and we went and had dinner and some drinks, and I found a beer that I could not find on Untapped, and I could not find on Google. So I feel like, aside from the experience of actually going and bottling, this was a win.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you get a picture of it or anything? Or
so the tap for it had the picture of like a cat's face.
Okay.
And it was like a is it a tabby cat? Is that the kind that's like red-haired cat?
Yeah, orange cat.
Yeah. So I don't know if I got a picture of the tap, because the bar itself was pretty busy, but the beer was like a red, kind of a dry red, and it was fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah. So I just kind of had to guess at what it was, and they couldn't quite tell me. The bartender was like,
"Oh, that sounds weird."
It's a custom in-house take on something like a Hamilton Red or something like that, which is a Canadian beer. Basically, I wanted Canadian beers, and I was able to have some Canadian beers while I was there. So, it was fun.
Definitely a win then.
Yes. Aside from that, I was in a hotel downtown, so I was on the 38th floor overlooking all these tall buildings, and it was fun. It was a great experience. And
have you been to Toronto before? Or?
So I went 9 years ago for a panel discussion at Ryerson, which is a university that's there in Toronto, and it was a panel discussion on I think fashion, plus size fashion, and body image, some things like that. And so Marie from the Curvy Fashionista was on it as well, and there were some other people that kind of represented a lot of different a lot of different parts of kind of this industry and more. There was also a lady that ran a blog for stylish older people, and it's something that, again, you don't see a ton of. You see more of it these days, but definitely at that time there weren't a lot of options. So that's cool. But it was another whirlwind thing, in and out. So
I'm going on a birthday trip with some friends to Toronto in April, so I've never been, so I'm kind of excited to check it out, check out some different spots, and it's always fun just to go on a friend's trip and
totally
go explore a new city.
And it's such a big city, so there's a lot to see. So
and check out different shops, and I'll have to try and figure out that company that you worked for and go check out their
Yes. Yeah. So it's the company is called Grafton Apparel, and they have George Richards and Mr. Big and Tall. Those are two of their brands. I think they have Tip Top Tailors, I think, is the other.
Okay.
We've got but the first two are the Big and Tall brands, and so they've got some good stuff. They have stores across the country. They're
across Canada.
Yeah, across the country of Canada. So yes, and they,
for all of our Canadian listeners.
Yes, and so so if you're in Canada, you're listening to this and you don't know about George Richards, check them out.
Yes,
and you can see what they have to offer. And yeah. Since we're kind of talking about my experience as a model, it feels like we should talk about some ways that people listening could potentially become models as well.
Ooh, I mean, there's lots of ways for people to be models. I don't know, just be a model on your own social media. Like
that's right.
Start posting stuff. That's my biggest thing for people is like become a model on your own. Like start doing that. Start posting fun outfits in, wherever you are. That gets the attention of brands. If you want to reach out to them, like we're going to look at your social media. Like that's the first thing we're going to do to see like, what kind of things do you like to do? Are you adventurous? What kind of style do you have already? Or whatever, how are you interacting with your wardrobe, your clothes? So that's always, I get, so many people reaching out wanting to be models and then they don't have anything. And I'm like, well, how do I don't know your body type or what you look like, or, like I want to see that you're already kind of having fun. You've got maybe a following that's interacting with whatever you're doing. It doesn't have to be millions of followers, but
I think that's the thing is, I actually had somebody reach out on Instagram when we posted some of the behind the scenes stuff from this Canada shoot. There was a guy who reached out who's signed to an agency that said he decided to give it a try because of what he'd seen on Chubster and what he'd seen me do out there. And so, it's cool to see like people say, hey, if that guy can do it, I got to give it a try. And so if you're gonna do that and you're gonna give it a try, you definitely want to do the things that Jody just said, because I'm being able to show these companies, if they are looking for models, they want to be able to see. They don't care so much about your personal style. They want to see that you can, that you have specific looks. They want to see, how you carry yourself. They want to see your different poses. They do want to see you in different looks, because think about it. If you're modeling, the vast majority of the time they're not bringing you in because of your style. Like they're not bringing you in to be like, oh, well, what do you want to wear? Because that's very rarely.
They're going to put you in something.
Yes. They have looks picked out. They've plotted the whole thing out. So it's not about your taste as much as it is the way you carry yourself and your look and being able to fit into the clothes that, because
a lot of times they're going for a certain aesthetic or like a quote unquote look for that particular campaign. And I'm not saying that, you need to specifically look a certain way, but like for Bearskin, when each month we have like a theme. So we're like, oh, we want to do this. So we're imagining a person that might look like this.
Right.
And it's not like they have to be so tall or whatever, just like a certain, like, the biggest thing is like confidence. Like we want to see that you can show that through a picture, that you're having fun and you're confident and comfortable. Like that's the main thing. But also it's like, oh, we're imagining that we're going to be up on this thing or climbing over the, whatever. Like,
I would say another thing is you really need to be able to take direction. So be able to listen, be able to take direction.
Yeah.
A lot of people will come in. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of people. Some people will come in and they have kind of an idea of what modeling is or what you're supposed to do.
Or what their poses are.
And it's very easy, right? And it's very easy to overdo it. So for me, I try to keep it pretty light unless they tell me. And you'll get a lot of direction from the teams that are taking the photographs. Right. In a good situation. So for me, like this time around, there were a lot of, all right, let's get some big smiles. All right. On the count of 3, everybody laugh, or they would have one of the models tell a joke, or, whatever. And so you do those things, or they're like, okay, now let's do some smoldering serious, different things like that. And they throw that kind of stuff out. And so you kind of go with it. But it's very easy to overdo it. And so, especially if you come in with an idea of this is what modeling is, turn your head this way, do the model walk, that kind of thing. So you have to like kind of bring it down unless they are very specifically looking for that. Just taking direction, I find, makes it a lot easier for me to really get into what they want. And they also, in a lot of cases, have like inspirational photos. So they'll show you like, okay, we like this shoot, or this shot from something else, we want to kind of create something in a similar vein. And so you get that and you get a vibe. So
a lot of times, I mean, for bearskin, we're looking for a lot more natural. We don't want the like over posed, over like whatever. Like we'll have conversations or like you said, telling jokes, trying to capture those non-posed moments is what we're normally going for. Like always shooting when maybe the model doesn't really realize that they're being shot. Like we're like, okay, we're figuring out lights or what exposures and all that jazz. And just like snapping pictures while they're real relaxed or just talking. Those are a lot of times some of the best photos when you're
definitely.
Sometimes people get in their head, like you said, about, I need to have this like serious face or like whatever. And I'm like, let's just have some fun. And
it was really hard for me early on, when I first started to try and get that and to also know what to do and what not to do. And I have a tendency, especially when I'm not thinking about it, or sometimes I guess if I'm overthinking it, I'll pull my head up too high for a photo, and little movements they go a long way. So and it's kind of just something because it's kind of something I do in my everyday life when I'm not being photographed. It's just like, I don't know, when I'm laughing or my head will go back or whatever. Well, you can't quite do that in photos because then you look like an unhinged person, so it's
your head is about to unhinge off your body.
Totally.
Yeah, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. Or like sometimes there are a little bit maybe unnatural poses that you have to do just to like, so you can see the product or like whatever. And I'm like, okay, move your hand. Like your hand is naturally just want to go down. I'm like, just move it back a little bit,
right.
Just to, because especially with underwear, there's not a lot of area to, find the product. So it's always like, oh, can you just move your hand a little bit? Or like, you got to turn just a little bit but that's all about directing the model. But totally. Sometimes it might be a little uncomfortable for a couple seconds or a couple minutes. You're like, okay, or you got to sit up a little bit straighter and lean, some whatever. But
things you think look weird do not look weird in the camera. So
it might feel weird or unnatural, but it's like, oh, that looked really cool.
So we've given a few tips here, just kind of, off the top of our heads, and we should probably drink our beers and then maybe we can throw out some actual opportunities that people can
What do you got? Did you grab a Canadian beer and illegally smuggle it across the border? Or
unfortunately, I was not able to bring back any Canadian beer. I really want to go back and spend more time, and actually have more beer than what I did and try some different things. But there were 3 breweries that were right next door to where we were shooting. Like you walk out the door and you walk into the next door, and there's a brewery on either side, and then there was another building that was right there, and they were all closed on a Monday, which was crazy. So I didn't get to try.
Well, I was like, wait, do they celebrate Martin Luther King Day up there?
No, I don't think so.
I was like, wait,
because they were talking about that. So I heard somebody saying, "Isn't it a holiday in the States?" So I don't think so.
I was like, wait,
So
just their winter hours weren't open on Monday.
I guess so. So I have the most basic of beers today. Because I've still got an action-packed day of things. I have a Bud Light.
Oh yeah.
So Budweiser Light, always brewed.
Light.
Yes, always brewed using the choicest hops, best barley, malt, and rice. Yeah. So
what is their slogan though? Don't they have? They're not the king of beer, but
that was Budweiser.
Yeah,
That's Budweiser, the
Budweiser.
king of beers. This is the prince of beers.
It's not
I
the
don't know.
champagne of beer. That's something else.
That is, isn't that, is that Coors?
I don't know.
Coors. I
thought
gotta look now.
Now I think it's like Pabst or something like that. I can see the
beers.
I can see the logo of it, but I can't.
Miller High Life is
Miller
the champagne
High
of
Life,
beers.
there it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I also have kind of a busy day, so I'm drinking another Athletic Brewing Company NA beer, Run Wild IPA.
Oh, nice.
I'm really, I'm enjoying it. I haven't had a dry January, but it's been drier.
Sure. Right. Right.
Drier January, at least for my drinking, not for anything else.
Well, there we go. That's good. It's good. Yeah, if you want to drink any of the beers that we are drinking, you can check out the Heavy Conversation beer list at Untapped. You can also avoid the beers that we are drinking if you feel the need to do that, and check that list. And we'll have in the show notes. I try to make sure and get it in there every time, and I do occasionally forget. So, we'll have to. I'll work on that. But
that's all right.
Yes, you
can
good. See all the beers and kind of go from there. So, but yes, so we mentioned that there are ways for you to become a model, because there are a couple model searches going on right now.
Oh boy.
So, do you want to kick this off, or do you want me to?
Yeah, you go ahead. I don't have it pulled up.
All right. So, I think we talked about this a little bit last year. There was this there's this thing called the bigger picture, and it's basically these big and tall models and influencers who are kind of trying to push big guys into the spotlight a little more, and they're doing that during New York Fashion Week. And last year they did kind of a what do they call those things where they kind of just show up unexpectedly,
like a flash mob, or
like like a flash mob kind of thing in Times Square during Fashion Week. And they did like a photo shoot there. It was just kind of like boom, and all of a sudden they were there, and they got some great photos, and got to make some waves with that. And so this year they are working on their plans again, and they are actively looking for models. So let me see here. You can check out their website. Thebiggerpicture.live is their website, where you can kind of see what's going on and get a better feel for what the whole thing is. There's some video there and some photos, and it kind of gives you a little bio, so you can get an idea of what the whole thing's about. What they're trying to do. They're really pushing for plus male inclusion at New York Fashion Week, and that's something that has just not been there for a long time. So, it's one of those things. I'm trying to get Instagram to pull up so I can show you this thing, but
I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me.
Oh, bless you. Yes.
I was trying to hold that in.
But it's Instagram is crapping out on me today. So
yeah, if you go to the Bigger Picture Live, they have a whole thing where you can register to become a model. It's presented by Johnny Big, True Model Management. I
can't read the other one there.
I know. I'm like, there's another one.
Yeah.
I don't know what that one says.
And Slam. Yeah. So basically, if you're wanting to be involved, then what you can do is go to that page, click register, and the model search has you'll enter your information, social media handle, age, measurements, so on and so forth. Tell them about yourself, send in a headshot and a full body shot, and you'll be good to go. At the very bottom there's even a 20% off coupon for Johnny Big. So check it out. You could have an opportunity to model with those guys, and they do some fun stuff, and they've been doing it for a year or two now. So it is absolutely worth checking out. And It is the biggerpicture.live. So that is a good one to see.
Oh, it's True Model Management, Slam Management, Johnny Big, and National Curves Day.
There we go.
Sorry, National Curves Day. I didn't recognize your
couldn't read
logo thing. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, I couldn't read it in the little logo there. Yeah. So the other one that we wanted to talk about is only for Canadian residents. So if you are in Canada, you live in Canada, you're up there, and you have wanted to be a big and tall model, George Richards Big and Tall Menswear is doing a model search, and basically their model search is on, and if you're selected, you'll be in their next campaign, and you'll pocket $2,500 in cash.
Woo!
So
I'm moving to Canada.
Yes. So you can enter. So if you go to Facebook, Instagram, whatever, you're going to see their model search. George Richards is what you can look up. George Richards Big and Tall. You'll be able to find it. We'll have a link in the show notes for this. So here's how you enter, Canadian folks. Follow them on Instagram, George Richards Menswear. Post a picture of you or someone you know and mention George Richards Menswear. Be sure to include the hashtag GR Big and Tall Model Search. Now, go to the post because you'll see all this stuff. You're probably not going to remember it through audio, so you'll see everything. And then make sure that your account is public so they can see your post.
That's a big one.
Yes. So by the time this is coming out, you are basically...
Oh, yeah, it might be over by...
Oh, yeah.
22nd.
Damn.
Oh, want. Well, we'll post it on our social media right now.
Yes.
In the next couple days.
So, yeah.
Sorry,
so
y'all.
by the time you're hearing this
one. I just saw that on the bottom there too. I was like, oh, whoops.
Well, crap. Well, here's what I'll say is that one of the guys that I modeled with for George Richards is the winner from last year. And so that tells me that they're going to do it again. So at the very least, you need to be following George Richards, checking them out, and getting in on this when they do it again, because we know that they're going to do it again. This is a cool thing, and it's a great way to find like real guys that are models. And if you look at the photo that goes with the post, you can see there's a lot of different types of guys, different body types, different heights, ethnicities, different looks. So yes. Even though this one is done, which I misread the date, my bad.
Well, that's weird because they have one down a little further.
Yeah,
that was. Then it's open until February 13th.
Oh, are you on Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay, because I am. Instagram did not like me today, so let's see if I can get in there.
Who knows?
And because
go check it out and do it and see what happens.
Yeah. Instagram. Either way, we'll have the accurate stuff in the show notes. So you may or may not.
We'll reach out and see if there's a different date.
Yeah. Right. So either way, and if there are other model searches that come up and things like that we end up hearing about, and they're something that's worth you checking out, we will probably talk about it on the show. So listen in and see what what you can find.
Nice.
I don't know if I have anything else. I guess there is. Let me grab this really quick, and we'll see, because this is actually something pretty cool that Big and Tall, Westport Big and Tall. Here we go. All right. Westport Big and Tall. Jody, you may have to pull some of this stuff up because my internet seems to be crapping out.
Sure.
Let me see here.
Oh, the scholarship thing?
Yeah. So Westport Big and Tall is doing a scholarship.
Yeah. It says we're working with bold.org to begin $1,000 college scholarship for a young man who qualifies as big or tall. Visit our site and click scholarship in the footer for more info. Let me go. Westport That's what was on their Instagram.
Yeah. So yeah, so you can check that out. That's a totally different thing. Not about being a model, but getting some support for a scholarship would be a good thing. It's for big and tall guys. So
yeah.
Pretty interesting.
So it says education level, high school senior or undergraduate. Application deadline is March 15th. Excuse me. So that we still have a little ways to go. I was trying to see if there's like about this isn't just Canada or anything.
Right.
Yeah. You have to be at least 6'2" or taller and a size 44 waist or bigger. That's what they're considering big and or tall.
Okay. All right. So there we go. Yeah. And Westport Big and Tall is, let's see, store locator there. Believe they're, Charlotte, North Carolina. So,
okay.
Yeah. So there we go.
Nice.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we'll have the link in the show notes for that as well. We'll share that around.
Yep.
Share it with your big and tall seniors or undergraduate people.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's huge. That's awesome. And any little bit helps, I'm sure. So yes. So we've got one more thing. And it is just a quick update here.
Yes.
Jeff Jenkins from Chubby Diaries. We've talked about him in the past, and that Jeff has Chubby Diaries. It's basically it's about being a big guy and traveling, plus size travel. It's a cool thing with kind of a male or masculine focus, something that we haven't seen a lot of. He's really been out there and just hitting it, and he has a Disney Plus show, National Geographic Disney Plus show that is coming out, and it now has a title and a premiere date, and the title is Never Say Never with Jeff Jenkins, and it premieres July 9th. So yeah, so definitely I'm gonna mark my calendar because I definitely want to see that. I'm excited that he's doing that and that he's getting out there. So very cool. And there's like you can see it on, I'm sure on his Instagram, Chubby Diaries _ if I recall correctly. That's yeah. And there's a picture of him holding a snake.
Out
in the wilderness somewhere.
No thanks. Yep.
So
I didn't say never. I'm just saying no thanks. It says something about it says life begins when your comfort zone ends. So it looks like he's like kind of doing these kind of outdoor adventure / challenges, attempting to climb a 70-foot mountain, class 5 rapids, sailing in a windstorm at the end of the world. Wow.
Oh my gosh. So all things that we don't get to see bigger people do, we're going to see Jeff do. So I am pumped about this. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So there we go. Mark your calendars, set your reminders.
Yep. July 9th.
Yep.
On Nat Geo.
Yep. Nat Geo. So there we go.
Well, thanks. Cool. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. Ways to become a model. Scholarships. New shows to watch.
It's going to be another whirlwind year.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, all right. Well, good.
Well, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my
all we need to do.
NA beer and get to it.
Yes. Time to get back to work.
All right. Well, thanks, Bruce.
Thanks, Jody.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.